Today I'm going to be teaching you about a strategy called a Venn diagram. It helps you to compare and contrast two items, meaning you're going to be able to distinguish how they are alike and how the two items are different. Today we're going to be comparing and contrasting fish versus whales. And I'm going to show you on paper how to draw your own Venn diagram so that you can use this strategy to compare any items that you like. This diagram was specifically talked about in teaching reading in social studies and science and math. That book was written by Laura Robb. Okay, to get started, I've got some blank paper here. You can use lined paper if that's all that you have. And just to make it a little more neat, I picked up a lid to help me draw two circles. One circle is going to be for the fish, one circle is going to be for the whales, and they're going to cross over in the middle to tell us what the two things, fish and whales, have in common. So I'm going to draw my first circle for the fish side, and now I'm going to overlap the lid with the first circle I drew and draw the whale side. Okay, this is what a Venn diagram looks like. It's two circles that cross over in the middle. This is our fish side. This is our whale side. And the middle is what they both have in common. So I'm just going to label this up here both, just for learning purposes, so that we remember that what they both have in common, how they are alike, goes in the middle. And that is supposed to be an L, not a T. Okay, so I'm going to start out. We know that fish have scales, but whales don't have scales, they have skin. So for the differences, we're going to put that fish have scales because whales do not have scales, and on the whale side we're going to put skin. Okay. Then we also know that fish have gills. Fish use their gills to take air from the water to breathe. Okay. Now whales have to go up to the surface of the water to breathe, so they do not have gills. Okay. So fish have gills. But whales go to the top of the water to breathe, and they have a blowhole, which fish do not have. So far on the whale side we have skin and a blowhole, and on the fish side we have scales and gills. Now, to think of something that they both have in common, they both live in water. So we're going to put water here. Now I know that there are freshwater fish and saltwater fish, and that whales live in saltwater, but for the purposes of the Venn diagram, we're just going to say that they both have the water in common. That's where they live. Okay, fish are also cold-blooded. They are not able to regulate their temperature. So fish are cold-blooded. Whales are warm-blooded, meaning they are able to regulate their temperature. Okay, so those are one more thing where they're different. Fish are cold-blooded, whales are warm-blooded. Also, whales feed their young milk. Okay, so they feed young milk. I'm trying to shorten that so it'll fit in the Venn diagram. Fish are not able to produce milk to feed their young. Okay. Fish, however, have a mucus that covers their body to help them fight off infections and things. Whales do not have that. So we're going to put that the fish have mucus covers their body. Mucus covers their body. Okay. Fish also have a swim bladder. This swim bladder fills up with air or squeezes air out in order to help the fish go up or down in the water. So fish have a swim bladder. Whales do not have a swim bladder. Okay, and if we think about a picture of a fish versus the picture of a whale, if you look at a picture of a fish or an actual fish, their tail fin is upright, whereas a whale's tail fin is sideways. Okay, so for the fish, we're going to put upright tail fin. And then under the whale side, we're going to put a sideways tail fin. Okay, so I think we have shown enough differences between the two. So let's think about the two, the fish and the whale, and think about how they are alike. Okay, there are different types of both fish and whales. So there are different types. I'm going to try to squeeze that in. There are multiple types of fish, multiple types of whales, the blue whale and the killer whale. As for fish, there's like a trout and a tuna. So there are different types of fish and whales. They both have a type of fins, though they may be called something different. They do have fins. They also eat different things based on the type of whale it is or based on the type of fish it is. You know, they eat different things, so they both have to eat or intake food. Okay? All right, so you can see how the Venn diagram works. We have the fish over here. The fish has scales, gills, he's cold-blooded. A mucus covers the body to help protect it. It has a swim bladder, and it has an upright tail fin. While the whale has a skin, blowhole, they're warm-blooded. They feed their young milk. Their tail fin is kind of sideways instead of upright. But then in the middle here where the circles cross over, this is what they both have in common. They both live in water, there are different types, they both have fins, they both eat, and the list goes on and on. You can continue to add differences and similarities to each of these circles. But this is just to illustrate to you how to create your own Venn diagram so that you can compare and contrast other things later. You can compare and contrast two different presidents, George Washington versus Lincoln. You can compare and contrast cats versus dogs. You can compare and contrast Snow White versus Cinderella. But this gives you a tool to help you compare and contrast two items in the future. I hope that you will use the Venn diagram to help you throughout your education to help you easily compare and contrast two items. Thank you.